This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today's Tuesday, November the 11th of 2025, day 315th of the year, and only 50 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, the combination of sarcasm and everything else. That is what we do around here. So don't worry about that. Anyways, our show is called the Rated R Safety Show. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of how we come about and talk about some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Just kind of how it goes. So if you're good to talk about some of this stuff, we're good to hang out and do some of this stuff. No doubt there. So with that being said, here's the gig rigger. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk a little about that. We're going to move forward. We're going to move back, and we're going to do a little bit of everything. So we talk about the news and safety. That's kind of how our show consists. And then we go from here to there and everywhere. That's the fun part. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, it's going to give you some options of video, audio, and text messaging. That's video, audio, and text messaging. Those are all the options that are readily available. So don't worry. Once you get there, it will change everything because it prompts me right on the screen on what the hell you're doing. And so then I kind of know where you want to guide in regards to some of the portions of the show. So that's the cool part about it. So that's how we do it. Simple process. Simple. And then as we're moving through the rest of it, I bring in some professional broadcasters to talk about stuff. And, we even bring in some professional people that tells us everything about what's going on in the news. And then we have little segments and do some stuff as we hang out and during this time of the day. So don't worry about that. Our show is a radio show that we put into a podcast and that also does a video stream. So you have some options on some things to do there if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, with that being said, here's the YouTube tip of the day.
Too much carb. When you're reading a label, the most important thing to look at is the carbohydrates, not necessarily just the sugar, because a lot of these foods don't have any sugar, but at high carbs. because they're adding starch, maltodextrin, flour. That's basically hidden sugar. Keep your carbs on the low side. In fact, in a given day, you don't want to consume more than 30 grams of carbs per day.
I think I eat that in a protein bar first thing. So there you go. That's your tip of the day coming from YouTube. So there you go. It's the Tuesday tip of the day. It has begun. So I have to tell you, we're barely out of Halloween, and we're already hearing people talking about Christmas, and Thanksgiving hasn't even happened yet.
The countdown to Christmas has begun. 44 days and counting.
Oh, yeah, 44-dayer, just in case you did not know. So let's go ahead and do this. Why don't we go ahead and bring in our friends at Feature Story News. Let them tell us about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse here, because that's what they seem to do.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. India's Interior Minister will hold a key meeting with top security officials on Tuesday as the investigation into a blast that killed at least 8 people in New Delhi on Monday evening continues. Reports say 2 people have been detained by the police so far and are being questioned. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
The Home Minister of the country, Amit Shah, says that all angles are being probed. Currently, he is scheduled to hold a meeting with top security officials in New Delhi, which includes not only the police of this city-state of Delhi, but also the National Investigative Agency, the National Security Guard, all of which agencies are currently involved in probing this incident. We're also getting reports that 2 individuals have already been arrested in links to this case, rather detained. These 2 people are believed to be the former owners of the hatchback car that exploded, leading to this massive blast. And at the same time, we have heard from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we've heard from the Home Minister of the country, who are both saying that they are monitoring the situation very closely.
The US government shutdown appears to be close to ending after 8 Democratic senators broke ranks to side with Republicans to advance a measure to end the 41-day standoff. Ira Spitzer reports from Washington.
The Senate is preparing for a final vote on the package to fund the government through the end of January after a Sunday night procedural vote garnered support from 8 Democrats to reach the 60 votes required to avoid a filibuster by the minority party. Democrats, who had demanded an extension of expiring health care subsidies, were promised a vote on the issue in December. However, there's little guarantee of that passing, with Republicans controlling both houses of Congress, leading progressive Democrats to slam their colleagues for giving up the fight. The package will go back to the Republican-controlled House, which is preparing to meet this week, and then to President Trump's desk for a final signature. Ira Spitzer, Washington.
President Trump has pardoned a long list of political allies accused of trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election. The president previously falsely claimed to have won the election. Charlotte North reports from Washington.
In a post on X late on Sunday, the DOJ listed 77 people who received full pardons, including former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and former legal advisor to President Trump, Rudy Giuliani. Pardons are largely symbolic, as none of the names listed were ever charged with federal crimes, although many of them face state prosecutions. President Trump didn't pardon himself, although he's previously said he had the, quote, absolute right to, a claim that remains untested. The Supreme Court previously granted the president broad immunity for official acts committed during his presidency. Charlotte North, Washington.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the size of Elon Musk's potential pay packet. Already the world's richest man, the Tesla billionaire, is on track to be paid $1 trillion over the next 10 years if he reaches certain benchmarks set out for him by the company's shareholders. Tom Powdrill chairs the High Pay Centre think tank in the UK.
Even if he hits these targets, how's he going to spend it? The guy's in his mid-50s, right? He's not going to be able to spend all that money in the amount of time he has left on Earth. It does feel like it's a power game, and unfortunately it feels like the board of Tesla feels unable to rein him in as well. He's already had enormous incentive awards, and it hasn't kept him even focused on Tesla. You know, he's got himself involved in politics in the US, he's got SpaceX, he's got Grok. all these other things. And indeed, just looking at Twitter this morning, all his tweets are about Grok, this AI company he's sort of set up. It's not about Tesla, even after he's just been given this, or the shareholders approved this big award to him.
Those shareholders approved that award, with 75% of them voting in favour last week. The first benchmark Musk has to hit, securing Tesla a market capitalisation of $2 trillion, up from a current figure of $1.54 trillion. For each one of 10 benchmarks that he hits, the company will give Musk increased voting power by swelling the percentage of Tesla stock that he owns, in addition to the financial compensation package. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The US Senate passes a funding bill that could bring the longest government shutdown in history to an end within days after several Democratic senators broke ranks. At least 8 people have been killed after a car exploded near the Red Fort landmark in Delhi on Monday evening. US President Donald Trump threatens the BBC with $1 billion lawsuit as the broadcaster apologizes for editing a speech he gave before the 2021 assault on the US Capitol. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. We are headed back now, 15 minutes past the top of the hour, as we are doing our thing here on the Rated R Safety Show. You know, hour number one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, just in case if you're lost in the romance. A lot of stuff going on, as always, inside of the world here. So we are going to start talking about some things that are going on. So let's talk about this. Let's start off with this one, I think. Yeah, like seriously. Take a listen. A Chicago man took a chaotic energy to a video game levels last week when he stole an ambulance from Laredo Hospital and led the police on a wild chase through the city. The suspect, a 59-year-old from Lamont Hill, hijacked an ambulance while paramedics was still inside of it. After she managed to escape, Hill rammed through multiple vehicles, including police SUVs, before the officer fired 4 shots trying to stop him. The chase ended when the ambulance crashed head-on to a police car, and Hill was arrested on 19 felony charges, including vehicular manslaughter or vehicular hijacking, kidnapping, aggravated battery. 7 people were injured, including 3 officers. The CPD is now investigating the officers who opened fire during the pursuit. So forget GTA 6. Chicago just dropped the expansion pack. And when your Uber takes the wrong turn straight into your ER, so there you go. Only in Chicago can a car hijacking and healthcare be in the same trip. Also, imagine explaining to your insurance company, "Yeah, I was rear-ended by an ambulance." And then the man saw Fast and Furious paramedic drift and said, "Well, here's my bet." Sometimes the gamer yelled 5 stars, lose the cops. So there you go. I don't know. A lot of stuff going on always as we are talking. Should we get serious? I mean, do we get serious starting off? I know that people always like to be a little bit serious. So let's talk about this because we can't escape the news. This is kind of how it goes. So you've been hearing over the last few days about how everything's going on and how now airports are being impacted with some of the stuff that's going on. Just kind of how it goes. So take a listen to this. President Donald Trump warned air traffic controllers to get back to work or face cuts as the 41-day government shutdown drags on. Following a Senate compromise to temporarily fund the government through January the 30th, Trump took to social media demanding controllers to return immediately, saying those who don't will be substantially docked. The shutdown has forced air traffic controllers deemed essential workers to stay on the job without pay. Some stopped showing up after weeks without income, forcing the FAA to cancel about 4% of flights and delay over 10,000 on November the 9th. Trump blasted absent controllers for what he's called Democrat shutdown hoax, urging them to quit if they are unhappy while promising $10,000 bonuses for those who kept working throughout the crisis. The Senate funding will still need approval from both the chamber before the federal workers can receive back pay. So what do you think? Because you know a lot of people are going to have questions about that. So you're deemed an essential worker, you haven't been paid, and you're being told by the President of the United States that you need to go back to work. How would you feel about it? You need to continue working, but you're not getting paid to work. So besides that you're having drama at work, you're also be having drama at home because you can't afford anything. It becomes one of those interesting things, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. And listen, the economy out there is tough. It's not like it's an easy thing that's going on right now. And if you're not getting paid, just imagine that.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, I don't know if it's entertaining would be the thing that I would talk about, but it's definitely something as we are talking, no doubt about that. Anyways, take a listen to this one because this one's been making the rounds too. House Democrats says that Ghislaine Maxwell is preparing to ask President Trump to commute her 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking related to Jeffrey Epstein. And they're demanding an explanation. In a letter sent on Sunday, Rep. Jamie Raskin, the top Democrat from the House Judiciary Committee, said that whistleblowers provided evidence that Maxwell is working on clemency requests, with the prison warden allegedly helping her copy, print, and mail the documents. Raskin's letters warned that the application is undoubtedly coming to you for your direct consideration, and accused the administration of possible corruption and favoritism, suggesting that Maxwell could be offering false testimony to clear Trump or other ties to Epstein. Raskin called Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchie to testify before Congress about what he called a corrupt issue of the law enforcement resources. Democrats have also renewed efforts to release Epstein's client files, which Trump has dismissed as Democratic hoax. Maxwell's most recent Supreme Court appeal was rejected last month, leaving her conviction intact. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on as we are talking. Okay, so let's talk about should we talk about some other stuff? Let's talk about this one because some people will care about this. Are you familiar with Rob Gronkowski? Famous football player, very well known. Take a listen to this. He's officially retiring again, but this time as a New England Patriot for life. Gronk will sign a one-day ceremonial contract with the Patriots tomorrow so he can formally retire with the team where he became a household name. The move was inspired by his late friend Suzanne Hurley, a beloved Boston philanthropist who died of ovarian cancer on November the 1st. One of Hurley's final wishes was for Gronk to retire a Patriot, and the team owner Robert Kraft made sure that it would happen, saying that he loved the idea and was doing it in her honor. Gronkowski, who played for the Patriots from 2010 to 2018, helped the team win 3 Super Bowls and earned a spot on the NFL's 100th anniversary all-time teams. He later joined Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, where he won another ring in 2021 before retiring. Gronk called Hurley a good friend who supported his foundation and countless charities through her Boston Marathon work, saying that she always did it for love. And he praised her strength, positivity, and passion for helping others, and adding that her legacy inspired him to go back, including a $1.8 million playground project he helped fund in her honor. Gronk will be eligible for the Patriots Hall of Fame in 2026. So there you go. There's a pretty moving story as we are talking because, man, sometimes some things get weird, and I know that people don't like always talking about sports, but I thought it was one of those ones that maybe we should talk about a little bit here, and a little bit there, because no doubt there. Okay, so take a listen to this. This one, when you start hearing this one, you're going to probably go, wow, that's pretty amazing. A Nebraska woman has reached her 20th birthday despite being born without a brain. You heard me right there. Alex Simpson of Omaha was diagnosed with with the illness, a rare condition in which the brain cerebral hemispheres are missing and replaced by fluid. Her father, Sean Simpson, explained that Alex only has about half the size of a pinky finger of brain tissue, yet she continues to defy every medical prediction. Doctors initially told her parents, that Sean and Lorena, that Alex could not live past the age of 4. 2 decades later, and their credit her survival to love and faith. Through Alex cannot see or hear, her parents say that she responds to presence, often turning her head or moving her eyes towards voices. She's a fighter, Lorena said. While Sean added in their faith carried them through the fear and uncertainty of her diagnosis, Alex's younger brother, SJ, says that she was a unique sense of emotions around her, claiming that she can feel people nearby are stressed or upset even in silence. This condition affects roughly about 5 to 10,000 pregnancies, and most infants with this condition don't survive their first year. Alex's story is rare, powerful example of resilience and extraordinary strength of family love. So, I mean, just imagine that. There's so many things that you could normally say there, but man, it's just amazing when it's all said and done. Okay, take a listen to this. Serial Guinness World Record holder David Rush added another bizarre feat to his collection after appearing on Spain hit TV show El Hormiguero while promoting STEM education. Rush managed to snap 65 cucumbers in half in just 30 seconds, shattering the previous record of 50. Rush, who now holds 300 Guinness World Records, said that his latest stunt was all about proving that science and creativity can be fun, whether it's building robots, designing sensors, or snapping cucumbers at a world record speed. He said the problem is about solving, not really anything else. Okay, take a listen to this one as well. An Ohio woman, turned into a jackpot. Nancy from Ministry accidentally hit the wrong button at a lottery kiosk at Wagner IGA. Bought a cash explosion ticket she said didn't plan on getting, and hadn't earned her spot for her cash explosion TV show, where she won $7,500 in the first round and then another $50,000 in the second chance cash challenge. To top it off, she received $1,000 in a win it all tickets, which scored her an extra $785. Nancy says that she and her husband plan to use their $58,285 total winnings to build an addition to their home, all thanks to the profitable wrong button. I mean, you kind of don't really hear a lot about, hey, I screwed this up and things seem to work out for me. Not a way that normally goes. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one. Target's rolling out a new 10-4 policy designed to make shopping feel friendlier. And it's not an employee practicing their smiles under the rule. Staff must smile, wave, and make eye contact with customers who come within 10 feet. So if a shopper gets within 4 feet, employees are expected to greet them warmly and offer help. The retailer says it is all about boosting guest love and loyalty, especially heading into the holiday rush. So 10 feet, they smile. At 4 feet, they help. At 2 feet, they might adopt you. So who knows? It's called the 10-4 rule because 24/7 smiling was too much paperwork. You walk into your 10-4 for toothpaste and walk out with an emotional support friend. If you're there 10 feet away, they wave. If they're 4 feet away, they recommend a blender. This isn't customer service. It's rom-com waiting to happen in aisle 7. Just kind of the way that you would have to almost think about some of this stuff happening. That is for sure.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
You know, you want to always hear about some stuff going on. Let's talk about some guy stuff for a moment. Beards are Beards added average of 3 years to perceived age and 30% to perceived toughness. Handle accordingly. So what do you think? Or do you think that we're seeing all this stuff about beer-related things because, you know, people want to be perceived as something else? I'm just asking because I never know. I just keep the shadow. I think the shadow's the better. I mean, nothing against big beards. If you want that, good for you. Just not my gig. But who cares about my gig, right? We're talking mostly about appearances and what people are attempting to do. So very interesting times as we are talking. What else do we got? Take a listen to this. President Trump called out Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday, saying that she has lost her way after the Georgia Congresswoman criticized him for focusing too much on foreign policy instead of domestic issues. Speaking in the Oval Office after swearing in the new U.S. ambassador to India, Trump told reporters that she's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She lost her way, I think. He added that Greene has been catering to the other side, as she's grown more vocal against him and other Republican leaders, including House Speaker Mike Johnson. Greene fired back in a statement in the Daily Mail, insisting, I haven't lost my way. I'm 100% America first and only. Her recent criticism has centered a GOP lack of a concrete plan to tackle domestic issues and health cost issues. Complaints have drawn attention from liberal media outlets and even some Democrats. Greene has appeared on CNN, The View in the recent weeks, platforms that once avoided her, and has found some bipartisan backing in her stance. Take a listen.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily. I passed a great big beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know.
So there you go. That's the president talking about what the hell's going on from his perspective, is what he's saying. So there you go. What do you think? What do you think about the whole thing? I always think it's interesting. We always talk about this stuff. I hate talking about politics, but unfortunately, we have just gotten into a world where politics are so important now that we just don't know what else to talk about. At least it seems that way as we are going through everything that is going on. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. The Supreme Court declines to revisit the same-sex marriage ruling. Yesterday, the Supreme Court refused to revisit the landmark 2015 ruling, which legalized the same-sex marriage nationwide. The petition came from Kim Davis, the former Kentucky county clerk, who made headlines for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples after the ruling. Davis, who was later sued in order to pay $360,000 in damages and legal fees, argued that her actions were protected by religious freedom under the First Amendment. For the case to be reopened, 4 justices had to agree, but the court declined. LGBTQ advocates concerned about the court's conservative tilt called the decision a relief. Mary Bonato, who argued the original case, said that Americans can breathe a sigh of relief. The equal marriage rights remained intact. Even President Biden respects for Marriage Act, ensuring federal and interstate recognition. Overturning could have created the patchwork of laws and legal in some states, banned in others. For now, marriage equality stands. So there you go. Definitely some stuff to think about as we are talking. What do you think, real quick? So there you go. With that being said, let's talk about some things that are going on inside of our main story, because why would we not do that? So let's go ahead and do that ahora mismo. No, like seriously, like right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, some main story time, some stuff to talk about, some things to look at, some things to do inside of the world of the multiverse, because there is nothing else to do. Okay, so with this being said, we're going to have to do something slightly different today, because, why would we not do anything different today? Have you ever scrolled through the news and started thinking, man, what happened to people? What happened to the world? Everything feels like, well, it's part, the world's falling apart. People are yelling online, fighting over everything. We start convincing ourselves that maybe the next generation just is not built for this. And then a story like this one pops up, and you wonder, maybe, just maybe, the future can be okay. So bear with me just one moment as I flip the screen over here. Because, we're doing the video and we're doing the audio all together in one little converge here. So as we do this, I want you to take a look at something real quick with me. Because I think it'll be interesting for us to have this level of discussion about some of the things that go on inside of the multiverse. And I found this story, and I was like, maybe it's time for us to discuss sometimes about how great the world can be from time to time. And this is not a joke as I say this, but take a listen to this, because I think it's going to stir some things up.
The restaurant business is already notoriously tough. Now imagine trying to run one when you're going through one of the most difficult times in your life. That's the situation that recently unfolded in Hudson, Wisconsin. But as Boyd Hooper reports, the town's teens not only rallied to save the cafe, but its owner as well.
In Hudson, Wisconsin, there's a cafe
Urban Olive and Vine, how can I help you?
with a reputation.
My name is Lily Benzer and I'm 18 years old.
Teenagers.
My name is Tori and I'm 17. Lainey and I'm 16 years old.
Lots of them.
Right now we're up to 30.
Chad Trainor.
So yeah, 30 teenagers.
And wife Carol built their business with teen employees.
I'm Acacia and I'm 17.
14 to 18, really.
Joe and 15 years old.
They soak up information. They want to learn. They want to do well.
And then the teens who helped build their business
Yeah.
saved their business.
In this room on September 28th, she collapsed on the floor and had a grand mal seizure.
Carol would spend the next 8 months in the hospital, mostly in Minneapolis, and mostly in a coma, with Chad bedside.
Not once. I didn't ask one teenager to do anything extra.
He didn't have to.
They just did it.
This is the pantry.
For 8 months, their teens essentially ran their place.
I don't really think about things very much. I just kind of go.
Acacia started arriving at 5:30 to open.
She's a great leader.
Joe and the other homeschoolers kept things going during the day.
And that one doesn't get anything on the top.
And everyone took on new roles.
Now do a little drizzle.
They trained each other, came up with the specials, and kept Carol's plants alive.
Me and Tori, mainly, we would go shopping for Chad. I have pictures of like my huge carts of stuff, and like my car would be full of stuff. And then I like look in here and see if anything needs to get paid or anything.
Jobs they lifted off the shoulders of Carol and Chad.
It's a family here.
Carol and Chad's family.
Carol always offered help with like school homework and just like life in general.
Carol and Chad sponsored their pageants and never missed their school sports and performances.
It's almost unfair for it not to be reciprocated back to them.
I mean, we didn't know at the time my wife was dying. And they just thought they were helping out because she needed help. You know, they needed things covered till she came back.
Carol did not come back. In May, she died at 58.
She was just a really amazing person.
Lily and all the other teenagers attended Carol's funeral. Then the teens got back to work, still pausing occasionally so they can lean on each other.
I knew we would all not do good today.
We're not even cutting onions yet.
I know.
Without them, the restaurant would not exist.
Thank you.
These kids became adults and ran our business and took care of me.
Urban Olive and Vine can be found in the heart of Hudson.
Will you leave a cup for me?
Run by the teens at the heart of Urban Olive and Vine.
I love them like they're my own kids.
Boy, Carol 11 News.
Hi.
Hudson.
I'm Jewel. I'll be your server today.
Chad says he'd stop by each morning at the restaurant at 4 o'clock to check on things before leaving to sit with Carol, but went months without actually seeing most of his employees. He said he kept one young adult working so the restaurant could sell alcohol, and the community of Hudson, of course, rallied as well, raising more than $100,000 for the Trainors in a GoFundMe campaign. The kids are all right, Jamie. Yeah. Anytime you worry about the future, just watch that story and just know that kids are all right.
They say that, things like that build character. I think it reveals the character.
Yeah.
The kids already had it. They just had an opportunity to show it. So
I love that
good
story.
For them too.
Yes, absolutely.
So
I thought I could quit drinking.
Like
myself.
I said, that came from Carol. Wow, apparently I can't override that. That came from Carol 11. But think about that. These kids stepped up to change the world in some way, shape, or form as we are talking. So, as we are doing this, let's go through some of the stuff. That's right. That's not fiction. That's not a movie moment as we go through it. That was a group of teenagers, 14 to 18 years of age, running a full restaurant in Hudson, Wisconsin. I want to make sure that you are aware it's Wisconsin. After the owners and the wife suffered a massive medical emergency. She was in the hospital for months. I mean, as you saw, the husband, who was the co-owner, basically living there by her side. And those kids, well, they kept the doors open. They handled inventory. They opened early. They made specials. They paid the bills. They trained each other. They kept the business alive because they cared. Let that sink in for a moment, just for a brief moment. Nobody forced them to do it. They didn't clock in for a bonus or a viral post. They just did it because someone had believed in them long before crisis showed up. I want you to think about this. See that the part of people that miss when they talk about kids these days. This is that part. They forget who raised them. They forget that leadership doesn't have to come with a title. It just comes by showing up when things get hard. Those restaurant owners, they treated those teens like family. They showed up for their sports games, their pageants, and their lives. And when everything collapsed, those kids paid it back in full. And you know what? That gives me hope. That gives me hope for the future, because we spend so much time in this world focusing on systems, on checklists, and in compliance, and who's to blame, and we forget the whole point. People take care of people. And that's not the foundation of safety or of business or of life. That's the point of everything. When I see teenagers choosing responsibility over convenience, showing loyalty when no one expected it, that tells me that maybe the story we keep telling about the future being broken isn't a real story at all. Maybe the real story is that these generation of kids are paying attention. They're watching how we act. They're learning what we value. And when the moments come, they rise. So, the future is not doomed, as many people sometimes like to say, which I think is kind of an asshole thing to say. Maybe it's already rebuilding itself quietly in small towns and restaurants, in places where trust still matters, and people still show up for each other. Think about it. So people, you write off kids these days. Remember, some of them might just save your business or your life when it all comes down to the real count of what's going on inside of this lifetime.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected, Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
Synthetics and every dream's a real and every war's been won. I reach for something that feels alive, but every breath is just a guide. Pull the wire, bend the stream. Nothing's real, just another dream. Fragments of the real, they fade when I touch them. I can't tell what I feel, it all resets when I trust them. Binary gods on electric thrones, we build a cage and call it home. Neon saints preach control. Data drips.
Oh, I love it when I can't even get the microphone to work sometimes. It's fantastic. Okay, let's see. 46 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So this right here is Fragments of the Real.
Downloaded, erased, every memory perfectly replaced.
Yeah, song's not available anywhere. Another in-house build here.
See the system in the dark. Fragments of the real, they fade when I touch them.
Yep, there you go. They frail when I touch them. So there you go. Thank you to in-house. I mean, I don't know what the hell to say here. We've just been, giving you some of the sprinkle inkles of some of the stuff that's going on. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, I can tell you, you go to the website, it can change a lot of things for you. People don't realize that once you get there, things are just kind of amazing when it's all said and done, because there's so much information on things that you can take a look at. No doubt about that. Okay, so there you go. TWLOHA.com. So there you go. Okay, what else do we have going on inside of the world of the multiverse here? Let's talk about this. What do we want to talk about? A lot of stuff. So let me make sure that I go into some things that are going to be important here. The Senate voted, it was yesterday, 60-40 to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history after 8 Democrats joined Republicans to approve the short-term funding bill that will keep the government running through January. The measure now heads to the House, which could vote tomorrow. Senate Majority Leader John Thune announced that we are coming to an end after 41 days of partial government closure that began back on October the 1st. The deal came after a weekend negotiation between moderate Democrats and the GOP leaders. In exchange of reopening the government, the Republicans agreed to hold a December vote of the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Far less than Democrats had demanded, the compromise immediately drew backlash from progressives who accused the party leaders of caving without meaningful concession. Some even called Senator Chuck Schumer resignation despite his no vote on the bill. The funding plan also includes back pay for furloughed federal workers and reinstates those who were terminated during the shutdown. So what do you think about this whole thing? I mean, I think that it's going to get interesting as we are going. Not like seriously. I mean, just some of those things going on as we are talking. A lot of stuff going on. So take a listen to this. President Trump had to issue a broad, tough, most symbolic pardon for several of his closest allies tied to efforts to challenge the 2020 election results. The pardon list includes Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, Sidney Powell, and John Eastman, among others. The proclamation describes the move as an effort to end a grave national injustice and promote national reconciliation. While the document preemptively clears these figures of any potential federal charges, it's largely symbolic, since none currently are facing federal prosecution, and it doesn't apply to state-level cases. The pardon does not include Trump himself, but it does signal his intent to defend those who stood by him during the post-election turmoil. So what do you think about this one? I don't know. I think it all gets pretty interesting as we go. I will tell you, Rated R Safety Show, we talk about safety, but shit, as of late, I feel like we've been talking so much about politics. So much about politics. It's just the way that it feels as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Mary. Stephen R. Covey said, "Motivation is a fire from within. If someone else tries to light that fire under you, chances are it will burn very briefly." I agree with this thought. I discovered this about me when I was in my 20s. I had a manager who pointed it out. He said, "John, you have contagious enthusiasm." I was kind of baffled by that. I'd never heard of it before. He said, "If you like something, you light up when you share it with others. But if you're not interested, you're not going to do well with it because you just don't believe it's a good thing." Well, that's true. I'm still that way today. So if you hear me talking about stuff, I really believe in it.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Ukraine reports intense fighting as the conflict enters its 1,354th day.
Russian forces continue to shell eastern regions with heavy artillery. Ukrainian officials report significant civilian and military casualties amid ongoing battles. International observers warn the conflict shows no signs of easing soon, with diplomatic efforts stalled. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Syria's Ahmad al-Shara arrives in the United States, marking the first official visit by a Syrian president to Washington since 1946.
The visit comes amid announcements of a major operation targeting ISIL cells in Syria. Al-Shara's visit aims to open new diplomatic channels after years of tension. Observers note the visit could signal a shift in U.S.-Syria relations, though challenges remain given Syria's recent history. Liam White reporting.
3 people are confirmed dead following a tidal surge on Spain's Canary Islands.
Strong waves pulled victims into the Atlantic Ocean during a sudden surge event. Emergency services responded quickly, but were unable to save those swept away. Authorities are warning residents to remain cautious as weather conditions remain unstable in the area. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The longest federal government shutdown in U.S. history is now on day 41 with no resolution in sight.
Flight cancellations and food stamp interruptions are causing widespread disruptions. Senate leaders met for rare weekend sessions aiming to end the impasse. Democrats offered concessions to reopen the government, but disagreements persist over funding and health care subsidies. Lawrence Keller reporting.
New York governor has authorized the use of state funds to resume SNAP food stamp payments after federal payments were cut off.
The move comes 9 days after benefits stopped due to the shutdown. Approximately 2.9 million New Yorkers rely on the program, and state officials are working to mitigate hunger during the federal impasse. The governor emphasizes the urgency of caring for vulnerable populations. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Air travel disruptions continue across the United States as the shutdown delays payments for air traffic controllers.
Flight cancellations at major airports are expected to increase in the coming days. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned travelers of potential delays during the busy holiday season. Airlines airlines are adjusting schedules amid uncertainty about when the government will reopen. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The U.S. Coast Guard is preparing to assist Customs and Border Protection agents at its Alameda base in California as part of a broader effort to deter illegal border crossings and potential threats.
This cooperation is part of intensified federal measures focused on border security and law enforcement. Recently, Coast Guard personnel defensively fired weapons at a vehicle that reversed toward them during a protest outside the Alameda base. No injuries were reported. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Okay, I think that sounds like a good plan. Let's continue talking right away. Back on this date in 1969, Jim Morrison's arrested on an airplane by the FBI for drunkenness. The FBI arrested you for drunkenness? So that happened back on this date in 1969. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Stanley Tucci turned 65. Demi Moore turned 63. Carson Cleasley turns 56, and Leonardo DiCaprio turns 51 today. So there you go. Let's talk about some things you ought to know. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot will be for $900 million jackpot. Here's last night's winning Powerball numbers: 6, 28, 44, 48, 58. Powerball was 23, and the power play was 2. Linebacker Alex Singleton from the Denver Broncos, leading tackler and co-captain, underwent surgery for testicle cancer on Friday, less than 24 hours after collecting 9 tackles in a 10-7 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Singleton played the game 4 days after learning he had cancer. He'll miss the weekend showdown against the Kansas City Chiefs, and hopefully he'll be returning to action in the coming weeks. The Broncos have a bye week after facing the Chiefs, so there you go. In some other news, President Trump is threatening to sue the BBC for $1 billion, accusing the network of editing footage from his January 6, 2021 remarks outside of the White House in a misleading way. According to the letter from his attorney, the British broadcaster has until Friday to retract the Panorama documentary or face legal action seeking damages of no less than $1 billion. And I'm saying billion, not million with an M. For news obtained and published, the letter, and the BBC has confirmed they have received it. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can stay right here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. So if I can leave you with a couple of different things real quick, here's some words of wisdom for you. May we think of freedom not as a right to do as we please, but the opportunity to do what is right. Think about it in that particular fashion. Also, some other things. Here's today's weird facts. A day of Mercury lasts 1,408 hours. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me on this lovely day. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out together. You are the reason why we do the things around here. If I can leave you with some advice for today, here's some for you. Frozen car doors seal. Rub cooking spray or Vaseline on the rubber edges, and no more door stuck at 6 a.m. Some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.